Hello everyone, it is Oscar here. Welcome back to Geoguessr Explained. Today we're going to be playing some more play-along games where I'll be teaching you guys how to get closer guesses, and the links to play those games today will be in the description in the first section, and in the second section there'll be tomorrow's games as well, so you can potentially get featured if you play both sets of games. Anyway, let's get straight into the diverse world. Hopefully you've played it by now, and I'll just get straight into things here. I'm also playing on my second account so that it's easier for me to scroll through the scores at the end. But okay, on this first one here, it is pretty obviously going to be somewhere in Malaysia. Malaysia is one of those countries that uses double white lines in the center of the road, and so you don't really see that too often in the rest of Asia. To get Asia here, we can look at the prevalence of the palms, but it's actually kind of hard to tell you exactly why this is Asia. I see some like Malaysian specific clues. This is an Asian car here with a black number plate. Black number plates in Asia should be Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia. We have this pole very close to us here, which has this black sticker and often has this red and blue thing on it, and that is going to be only found in the peninsula of Malaysia. It's never found, or very, very rarely found, on the Borneo, Malaysia, and so, yeah, super useful. Black and white striped signposts can be found in Malaysia and Sri Lanka within Asia, so that's also pretty useful. Yeah, we also have these chevrons, which are yellow chevrons on a black background. Now, I could be wrong, but I feel like Malaysia usually uses black ones on a yellow background like that. But interestingly, we have like the Brazilian style here as well. What else to say here? I don't think this area code really helps, although I don't think anyone's really figured that out properly yet. Yeah, double white lines are very Malaysian, though, as opposed to anywhere else in Asia. Maybe you could see that in like... I don't know, very rarely in Indonesia, maybe very rarely in Philippines as well, but yeah, just very Malaysian here. Anything else to say here? This is also a Proton, which is a Malaysian make of car, I believe. Can we region guess this? A lot of palms, so I'd expect it to be somewhere coastal, but apart from that, it is quite difficult to get the right region sometimes. I think like southern Perak could make sense here, but apart from that, I couldn't really tell you. I'm going to give that a go, and it ends up being in Kelantan, so we're actually not that far away, all things considered, but yeah, picked the wrong coast, unfortunately, and as I said, it was going to be pretty coastal with those palms, so we had a 1 in 2 chance. Next one here is interesting. Language aside here, let's take a look at what we're looking at. So, first things first, we do have a blue bit on the number plate here that would indicate Europe, of course, but we also have a bit of blue, I would say, on the right-hand side here. There is like a blue tinge, and if you look on the other plates here, they seem to also include that, I would say. So yeah, here's one. This one's much more obvious, where the blue tinge is clearly not as big as the left-hand side, but the right side does have some blue, and you can again see that here. So countries with blue on two sides of the plate would be France, Italy, and Albania. And Italian front plates would be short, so this would be between Albania and France. And the Albanian ones would have more blue on the right. They're kind of two even sections, whereas this one is just a little bit less on the right-hand side. So, not to mention the French flags, we should be somewhere in France here based on that. Also, I wanted to say that French signs, we can't really read any French signs properly here. The old plates in France were yellow, so you can expect to see some French plates that are yellow every now and again, especially in the older coverage, like Generation 2. And is there really anything else to say here? I mean, these plates are just so French, not to mention the fact that we've got like a Renault here, we've got a Peugeot, we've got, a Citroen, a Renault, and a Peugeot, so that would like be the classic French cars as well. Architecturally, France is quite diverse, so I'm trying to work out whether I think this is more of a North French or a South French round. I would say more of a North French round, but we could probably make out what the shape of the city is here. I think that's something we could do if we had more time on our hands. I also want to see if there's any area code, because France has quite useful area codes. I can teach you that anyway, even though we don't appear to have one. So 01 refers to Paris, then it's 02 in the northwest, 03 in the northeast, 04 in Lyon, and 05 in Bordeaux. Unless I have those two the wrong way around, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. And then 06 and above should just be mobile numbers, I believe. Yeah, we don't really see anything too useful. So I want to kind of guess in the north half of the country here. I feel like not too far from Paris is probably a decent idea here. So that's what I'll go for here. And it was indeed just in the middle of the country in Vichy. So there you go. Someone figured that. Actually, that was the shape of the city. So it was probably pretty figure-outable, I think. But only one person getting the city up there, apparently. Okay, next one here is, I think I can get the country without looking around because of this pavement. This kind of cross-hatched pavement very common in Netherlands. I also associate that with like near Surabaya in Java, but yeah, I mean, apart from that, this is definitely the place I associate with it most. It with most. And we have these metal massive poles here. They're more common in some countries and less in others. But when you consider that like just electricity poles in general in Netherlands are quite rare, they tend to like wire everything underground. These ones are more commonly seen there actually, and you can quite commonly see them in like some countries. I would say Israel's a country that uses them a lot as well. Spain tends to have quite a lot. Maybe I don't know about Denmark, but Denmark maybe as well. Anyway, I am thinking here that we are going to be somewhere in Netherlands. Now, these black roofs are often quite common in Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg as well, I would say, so this feels pretty good. I might even want to guess a bit further south just because it kind of looks a bit like Belgian roofs. Apart from that, there's not really too much to say here. It is kind of a generic ground. Netherlands is so flat that it's hard to region guess, so I will just go here. Ends up being northern, unfortunately, but that's a fine score. Netherlands is pretty forgiving. Okay, next one here, and we appear to be driving right-hand side of the road. We've got concrete poles here, all white road lines, which is useful. We have like a bunch of like apartment buildings in the background rather than houses. Like we have a house here, but everything else seems to be apartment buildings that I can see, and that's definitely helpful for the country here. So there are those countries that use more apartment buildings and those that use less, and I would say Turkey is a country where most people live in apartment buildings, and I think this should be Turkey. We do have some white bollards on the side of the road here, which also fits for Turkey, like this style here, very Turkish, bit of red on it there I can see is also the Turkish style, very similar to the Australian bollards that you often see, and also this kind of sign is very Turkish as well. Now it is remarkably flat for Turkey in the sense that normally Turkey like just has mountains over the entire country. So I'm thinking of like Kayseri area here is a bit flatter. Konya is famously flat, although we do need some mountain ridge to our north here. So if we were traveling kind of out this direction, that could make sense. I mean, the road angle actually not fitting quite right there, but yeah, something we have to like be kind of going north here with a mountain ridge more or less to our northwest. So something like this could work near Konya. I also don't mind Batman as a kind of shout here because this does have a mountain ridge north and is pretty flat to the south, so could also just go for Batman here. Let's take a look again. Yeah, maybe feeling the Konya shout more here, but either one's still possible. Anything else to say for Turkey? Yeah. Concrete poles most common there. You also see like a whole range of different poles though. Language obviously helps if you can see it, and yeah, I think that's about it. So I would like go between them here. I think I will actually go for Konya, but we'll find out actually where it exactly is here, and it ends up being all the way west there, which kind of makes sense. There are some flatter sections out here. That was actually quite gettable. This whole section of road was quite gettable, but I just did not realize it. That's okay though. We move forward to the next round, and we will look at a round with a long antenna here. We have black and white turning arrows here, which is definitely useful. And we have a rare bollard here, actually. This grey-topped bollard is in this country, but not commonly. And so we have white outer lines as well, a bit of like reddish soil, very dry and kind of like a undulating hills here, and a lot of pines as well. So these bollards are Spanish. This sign is also Spanish with the red that goes all the way to the edge. And we also have a flat signpost that I was talking about in yesterday's video as well. A long antenna is fairly common in Spain, and also Spain uses these double chevrons most commonly. I don't even think they really ever use single chevrons. It's almost always double. So yeah, that's useful. I was thinking more in the north of the country here, but I feel like actually clicking Madrid is probably the best idea because this can easily be south as well. So that's what I'm going to do here. Although I remember those bollards were more in the north of the country, and that makes sense when is Zaragoza there. So we get 21,400, which is really not too bad. And let's go and see how you guys did. Not necessarily an easy seed, but not too hard either, I would say. I was kind of on the wrong end of a lot of the region guesses here, so we ended up being actually below 25th, which is a little annoying, but that's okay. And I'm going to go a little bit further down here. As I said, it was a fairly straightforward round, so I want to kind of go to someone who got like less than 17,000 points. While I scroll down, do give the video a like if you are enjoying it and want the daily challenges to continue. And we're still struggling to get to 15,000 people here. Here we go. Tin Cox and Wilhelm here were at the appropriate level, so let's see how they did. Okay, on that Spanish one, we had a Turkey guess and a Argentina guess. So that one was Generation 3 camera. So for both countries, you'll never see an antenna in Argentina at this stage, and Turkey, you never see a long antenna. So with those, both of those countries can be ruled out. Yeah, apart from that, it's about knowing that really thick red border that goes all the way to the edge. That's a very Spanish style of sign, and then the flat signpost as well. France, you were both able to get, and even closer than me as well. The Netherlands there was about the pavement and also the roofs. The Britain guess is not too bad. I would say the Slovakia guess you'll definitely see different roofs over there. You would not see black roofs like that, at least not so commonly. As for the Turkey, both missing it, one Bulgaria, one Poland. The Bulgaria could make sense. I don't think it would be so dry there. Probably not so flat, or unless you're in like very certain sections in the north or something. Yeah, so yeah, not a bad guess. The Poland doesn't really make sense there. Definitely going to be more greener in Poland, and then those kind of divided highways that we had there are very very common in Turkey, by the way. So if you're on a big divided highway, all white road lines, right hand drive with some white bollards, probably going to be Turkey. In all honesty. Okay, and then the Malaysia was not too bad. Obviously, the black sticker should preclude anyone from going on Brunei. But a good guess here from our other guy. So yeah, that's about it for that. Now let's head into the other one, which was AI-generated world, no moving, panning, or zooming. So I'll try and take you through what I'm thinking here, but this one should be difficult. This should be extremely difficult, really, because this map tends to favor locations with less clues. Okay, and the first round is no exception. This is definitely interesting. So I am not even sure about the continent yet, so I immediately am looking at where the steering wheel is here, and we see a steering wheel that's on the left-hand side of the car, which would mean, I think, that we should be a right-hand drive country. Now, this could have been like South Africa or something like that, so it's extremely good to get that out of the way. We should not be in South Africa. We've got a yellow rear license plate here. This is a bit too dry to be the UK or the Netherlands, I would say. I mean, UK... Yeah, it seems quite unlikely to me with this kind of vegetation. So if we're seeing yellow number plates, then we should be thinking about France. It's probably not Israel because Generation 2 camera is extremely rare in Israel. And so I guess France is really the only natural option here if this number plate has not been a traveling car. So that is the next thing to consider. I'm not really thinking about places in the Northern American countries here because we have a white center line here. So that would really indicate that we are probably somewhere more towards Europe. And that is about all there is to say. So now, does this actually feel like France? I would not say that I would go France here ordinarily. I don't really feel that it feels that French. The light bulb here doesn't feel that French, nor does the general, like the curb here, or I don't know, this whole scenery. So I'm a little bit confused about what's to be done, especially this road line. Normally in France they use longer center road lines, so I'm a little bit confused. But obviously, if it is France, south makes more sense here because of the dryness. Do I actually want to go there? Is there something I could be missing here? This could be still North America, I suppose, but it just seems quite unlikely. So, yeah, yellow rear plates. Could it be anywhere else? I guess it could be one of the Eastern European countries, but Generation 2 just makes it much more likely to be Western Europe. So I think I will just go Southern France here and hope for the best. And it was actually in Israel. Generation 2 Israel all the way north there. That was a difficult round, but a lot of people got it, so it does make sense. I feel like that was actually a type of round where knowing less rather than more about car meta would actually help or about the generations, because I really thought that like on a road like that, Generation 2 should be really quite rare. But of course, it is a AI-generated world, so you have to expect the unexpected, I guess. Okay, anyway, here, next round, we should be somewhere with yellow outer lines, so Southern African countries, Middle Eastern countries, something like that. We are driving left-hand side of the road here, if we're to believe this car, and we have a long white number plate, so that would make sense for South Africa here. And South Africa is also the only country with Generation 4 camera, which is this like more vibrant and high-definition camera. So, yeah, these pole tops are also very South African. I mean, you could see them in Eswatini, but yeah, quite unlikely to. Okay, so it's kind of grassland here. I could see a good argument for Free State, for like Western or Eastern, North Cape here, this state here, or maybe even for just like near Newcastle. It seems like on AI Gen there's a lot of like locations near Newcastle. So, but I still feel like kind of Kimberley area might be most likely here with these hills in the background. So I think that's where I'll go for. But yeah, just somewhere in South Africa here, and it was indeed in the Kimberley area there. So that's actually quite a nice guess, 4.8 thousand. We'll definitely take that. Let's head into the next round here, which is definitely quite straightforward as an AI gen location goes. So let's run through what we actually have here. Number one, we got these concrete poles. And these concrete poles have this black and yellow sticker with diagonal stripes on it. Now, we can't see the bottom of the pole. If we could see the bottom of the pole, then we could determine absolutely whether this was Taiwan or South Korea. But regardless, at least puts us down to those two countries, essentially. Then we also have white number plates here, generally speaking, which both countries would have, but the language here has circles in it in a way that you would not see in Chinese and a way that you would see in Korean. Korean's the Asian language, of course, with the circles in it. And then also I would say this yellow color here on the pole is actually more of a Korean thing anyway, because it looks more orange in Taiwan, I would say. Also, landscape definitely fits. Korea is a very mountainous peninsula, and we have more Korean on the crossing sign here, which is the Korean style. Is there anything else to say here? I don't really think so, apart from the fact that we have winter coverage, which is pretty much found all over the country, maybe more common in the north. We're looking to the south with water like southern here. I would probably just hedge it south here because there's more south coast there, so I think that just makes more sense as a guess. We'll find out here where it actually is, and it is just actually middle. So that was some kind of a lake, or even just a river. Wow, kind of felt like a big body of water, but it is southern, so that's at least good for us. Second last round here, we have a yellow center line here. It's a single center line with no dashes next to it or anything, just a single unbroken yellow. That is most common in Canada. And you can also see that all over South America, for example, Mexico, Guatemala, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru would commonly have that, at least decently enough, commonly. So yeah, keep that in mind as well. But this will be Canada because we have these kind of ferns on the side of the road, and we have like birch trees as well. Now, of course, East Coast, West Coast is a bit of a concern here. What side are we on? I would say the forest vibes give me more of the East Coast kind of feeling. This kind of white sand towards the side of the road maybe makes me think we're more towards like a lake or something like that. If we were, like Vancouver Island does have a lot of ferns, but again, I don't really think that this quite fits for Vancouver Island based on the way the forest looks. So I really think Ontario here. Second option might be like Manitoba or like Quebec. And then yeah, the other provinces are definitely possible, but I want to go like kind of north of Toronto here. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna go for. Let's see if we're correct about that. It ends up being actually another nice guess. So apart from the Israel, we were guessing quite nicely so far, but the Israel was quite a blunder. And the last round here is very interesting especially in the sense that I think we might be in Adelaide here. As many of you guys might know, I'm from Adelaide. I was born in Melbourne, but grew up in Adelaide. And we have eucalyptus trees, which immediately makes me think of of Australia. And these kind of like conifer kind of, I don't know what you call them, not conifer, but like a needle kind of leafed trees do remind me of Adelaide to some extent. But then also this very green grass winter coverage. And this tree particularly here, it's hard to describe why, but it reminds me of Adelaide. I think if it's not in Adelaide, then Melbourne or Perth probably work. Maybe Sydney, but yeah, definitely just reminds me of Adelaide Hills somewhere here. That is just some real life experience coming through here, guys, because I'm pretty sure I'm right. And if I was to go anywhere, yeah, maybe this kind of area. Black Hill Conservation Park would certainly be correct. Let's see if I'm right about that. And we were indeed correct. There we go. We're actually south of the city there, interestingly. It's like Onkaparinka or something. Anyway, that is pretty nice. So we get 19,000. We basically had a very near perfect score apart from a terrible start there. So let's see who actually came out on top there. It was definitely a difficult seed. And yeah, despite everything, we actually managed to get 5th place here, which is kind of cool. But yeah, shout outs to everyone who managed to get the Israel because it seems like a lot of people did well, whereas I didn't. Anyway, let's check out some of these lower scores here and see how everyone did. I think we won't really have to go too far down here because presumably we'll be getting to the lower scores pretty quickly. So I'm just going to click Chupapi here and see how Chupapi did. So obviously this Adelaide round was quite difficult to get if you're not from there. It's just a trekker on a trail. So yeah, but the main thing there is to remember that we have the eucalyptus trees, which definitely indicate there. The Korea was a good guess from Chupapi. Canada made sense. I would just say it was the vibes there about the forest. I don't really know. You kind of have to see it a lot of times. British Columbian forest, maybe the trees would be taller, maybe less birches. I'm not really sure about that though. But yeah, definitely kind of reminded me of Ontario, they got the Israel, which I did not. So a bit of like I was meta slaving a little bit there, kind of trusted the meta too much. It definitely made sense to be Israel, kind of a bit of a throw, if you ask me. And is that it? Then the South Africa was another good guess. Free State definitely made sense. I kind of leaned a little bit to North Cape, and it was that way, but yeah, definitely a good guess. And you can definitely see similar landscapes near Bloemfontein there. So that is it for the video. Do give the video a like if you enjoyed it and watched all the way through. Thank you very much for watching, and do not forget to play tomorrow's games, and keep on grinding, keep on improving, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, goodbye.